John Maughan, I find you in Galway in Porrick Joyce country. You're managing here at the moment, a challenge match here tonight. But let's talk about Mayo, and I'm wondering what the feeling is in the West. Is it that this is finally going to be Mayo's year after so many disappointments?
Yeah, we've had quite a few disappointments. I've been involved in a few of them myself, and yeah, there's a nice feeling. There's a calmness around the place, which is a little bit unusual for Mayo. And but I think obviously in the days leading the Ireland final, the guys will get a little bit giddy. But there's something different this year. There's no doubt about it. We didn't expect it. Certainly those guys that have been around the scene for quite a number of years, we didn't expect to see our team in the Ireland final. And to a certain extent, we feel we're in bonus territory. But the fact that we're not playing a Kerry or a Cork, it certainly gives us a great chance, we feel. Now, and of course, there's no doubt about it, Donegal are everybody's favourites. There's huge pressure on Donegal to deliver. They have played marvellous football, particularly against Cork and Kerry, those two big guns. And understandably, you know, most pundits around the country will be tipping Donegal, but we're quietly and calmly confident.
So are you saying that you'd maybe prefer to meet Donegal than a Cork or a Kerry?
I think so. Like, I mean, there's a lot of psychological damage, obviously, against those two big guns. You know, Mayo played Cork in the league final this year, and in a 10-minute spell, they just put us out of our misery, so to speak. So, yeah, we always feel that we have a chance against the Donegal side. Donegal are a fresh new team as well. Now they have some wonderful footballers, and they have been playing brilliantly well. And this guy, Jim McGuinness, is something else. He's the mystery man. He's done a marvellous job with his lieutenant, Rory Gallagher, who I worked with in Fermanagh. They deserve wonderful credit. And they're going to be very, very difficult to beat, but we feel we have a great chance.
Well, you're talking about managers there. You're still managing a club team here tonight. You've been around a few blocks as manager. What do you think of these new pups, these new managers coming through, Jim McGuinness and indeed James Horan? What have they brought and what are they doing differently, if anything, really?
Well, the game has moved on. It's a different game than when I got involved in management, intercounty management in 1990, over 22 years ago. The game certainly has moved on. It has evolved, and certainly Donegal's game has evolved, particularly in the last year. I think Jim McGuinness he's absolutely fantastic, and James Horan has done a fantastic job as well. I know in James Horan's situation, he's obviously brought in Dr. Cian O'Neill, who was involved with a Tipperary hurling success. He knows a thing or two about the game. He's obviously got a psychologist and Kieran Shannon involved with the team, and he's surrounded himself with expertise. And that's certainly a new development. I know in my time, I nearly ended up driving the bus on occasion. So, and obviously Jim McGuinness is a very, very astute manager, and having worked with the Donegal under 21 boys, he knows those boys particularly well, and he seems to have them eaten out of his hand. There's no doubt about it. There appears to be a great love above in Donegal, and they have great respect for Jim McGuinness, and I'd say likewise down in Mayo with James Horan. But it's great to see new fresh blood in the management scene, and these two guys are very, very astute, and they've done. And I think when you look at them on the sideline in particular, they're so calm and relaxed, and I think both teams buy into that calmness. I haven't seen James Horan flapping at all in any game I've seen this year. Maybe one or two exceptions. I know if it was I on a couple of occasions. And there's one particular incident that resonated with me in the Dublin semi-final, when I think it was Seamus O'Shea kicked a sideline ball straight down the throat of a Dublin footballer, but he was just turned around. The manager, that is James Horan, walked up the field and reorganised and regrouped, and just very, very calm. And I think that demeanour has reflected on the style of play in both camps.
Well, that's enough about the managers. What about the men who really matter
Yeah.
on the pitch? What about the players? You know, how do you think it'll go? And where will it be won?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt. Looking at it, you'd have to think the Donegal forwards have been absolutely marvellous. Like, I mean, and Michael Murphy, although not playing particularly well, like, I mean, you know, but McFadden has been absolutely wonderful. Like, I mean, he's the go-to guy this year, and he's an absolute revelation for a guy. I think he's about 110 caps now with Donegal, so he's been around the block quite a while, but he looks re-energised, refreshed. I know he's a brother-in-law in Jim McGuinness, and obviously the penny dropped with him sometime recently, and he's got himself in great shape. He's playing fantastically well. Lacey's obviously running for Player of the Year when you look at Donegal. He's been absolutely marvellous, and of course the wee man Mark McHugh.
You're trying to build up Donegal. I know what you're trying to do here, but seriously, where's the match-up? You know, how do you think the two teams will match up? And they're both got tremendous energy. They've both had tremendous seasons.
Well, you talk about the energy. Donegal appear to have unbelievable energy and they've great pace, and we all know their game has been obviously discussed by more than I. And the move with that with such pace from the back, and they've been very, very clever. I think, Mayo have got to push somebody right up on Mark McHugh. I thought Cork were going to do that in the semi-final. They didn't. They did a kind of a half measure. I looking at maybe options, and we have some players that could do a fantastic job on Mark McHugh, and I think is absolutely essential. If Mark McHugh ends up on the Donegal full back line, as he invariably does, I think we've got to put him defending. We've got to get a forward up there, the likes of a Kevin McLaughlin or maybe a Chris Barrett, who started the last day, a good footballer, who can turn and put Mark McHugh defending. I think that's absolutely crucial. Midfield is a crucial sector, understandably, and in most games, if your midfield is winning, you're putting the opposition defending straight away. You're putting them on their heels, and I think that's absolutely crucial. Now, Aidan O'Shea has been an absolute revelation. He missed 8 or 9 weeks earlier on this summer. He came on in the Connacht final, and in 15 minutes against Sligo, he had an enormous impact on the game. Barry Moran was introduced to Mayo football, senior football, in 2005, 7 years ago. Through injury and a combination of other reasons, have never really delivered. This year he is. They're two huge men giving us a primary ball winning possession around middle of the field. That's absolutely crucial. I don't think Donegal will have it all their own way in that particular sector. And if Mayo get a foothold at middle of the field, I think our forwards, particularly the likes of Alan Dillon, who's been playing marvellous football. If Mayo were going to go on and win this game, Alan Dillon could arguably be player of the year. He's been absolutely fantastic. Our scoring average in Mayo over 4 games has been 23 points, which that's something quite remarkable and quite unique for Mayo, because that has been their Achilles heel in the past. If we get quality ball into our forward line, we have a fantastic chance.
Well, let's call it then. I know your heart obviously says Mayo, but as a pundit maybe on the fence, what would you say?
I have to say, if I had stolen money and I was putting a bet, you'd have to put it on Donegal. They've been an absolute revelation. And I think their physical strength, they're very, very strong in the full forward line. Those three I've just mentioned are very, very strong. And there's so many other teams that seem to have hit the sweet spot at the right time. It's all about playing your best when it matters most. And if Donegal don't bring their A game to proceedings, I think Mayo have a fantastic chance. But if both teams play to their maximum, I feel that Donegal might be that little bit better.